I found out that my girlfriend, who is currently unemployed, had booked a hotel room for her and her partner using my card. The next day, I left a special message at reception for her, and now she's single again. My girlfriend and I have been together for a while, and this relationship has meant a lot to me because it's my first, but hers is actually her third. My girlfriend and first kiss, so I was pleased when it seemed like we were working out. Everyone around me had said that first relationships are just like a training ground, but we seemed to overcome all our differences and got along very well. Anyway, everything progressed pretty quickly for us, and she seemed to be on the same page about it. We introduced each other to our families, who were very welcoming on both sides. We started talking about living our lives together, because we seemed to want the same things in life. However, we're just starting out financially. We opened a joint account and contributed to it regularly. The plan for the account was to save for a house. We also planned to take car holidays and do other things together. I contributed more to the account because I was earning more and seemed to be more invested in it than she was. A few weeks ago, I got our joint account bank statement and was surprised to find money withdrawn in regular intervals. All of it seemed to be paid off to a hotel. I was surprised to see that my girlfriend had taken money out of our joint account at the Star Hotel. She always told me when she did this, and it seemed like she hadn't contributed to the account in a while. I confronted her about it and showed her the bank statement. She acted like she didn't know anything about it. I asked her if she'd signed us up for one of the hotel's clubs or activities, but she said she didn't know anything about it. I forgot about the subscription. She said it so firmly, but I was sure I had never been to that hotel. So I decided to follow it up. I went over to the hotel and asked a few questions. Luckily, the receptionist was bored and was ready to talk. After some back and forth, I finally showed her my girlfriend's picture. She perked up immediately and said that my girlfriend had been there regularly with another guy. From the way they hung around each other, it was clear something romantic was going on. She even mentioned that they had booked in advance for the following day. I was pretty shocked, but I decided to play it cool. I left a message for her, and then I closed down the account. I emptied it and transferred the money to my personal account without telling her about it. I figured this would teach her a lesson and get rid of her. I'm just anxious about what's going to happen now. My girlfriend started blowing up my phone the following evening. I think she finally realized she couldn't pay for her affair with my money. She kept sending me messages, begging me back. I finally picked up one of her calls to explain that we were over. She cried and asked me for some money. Apparently, she'd been out of work for a while and didn't know how to survive without our joint account. She swore that the affair was just to fill the time and it meant nothing. I also told her I wasn't interested and blocked her on all platforms. Her family also called me to ask why we had broken up. I told them to ask her about her hotel club activity. It was unfortunate that my family had grown close to her as well. I was a bit sad that I had to explain that the relationship was over. First relationships are just generally tricky, but this was just a train wreck. Just my luck. Next cheating story. I thought I would post how I'm feeling. I'm hoping it helps. I don't have many close friends I feel I can confide in. They're either mutual friends of me and my wife, or I'm just not that comfortable with them. I've been married to my wife for 12 years, and we've been together for 5 years. We have 2 kids. It's been about 8 weeks since she told me she was having an affair with a friend of ours. He's also married with kids. I thought our marriage was good, so this really knocked me for 6. There were things we should have done. Maybe made a bit more effort, but I was happy. She's been on antidepressants. I think the antidepressants played a big part. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of what happened because, as it stands, she's ended it with this guy and seems genuinely upset at the hurt and mess she's caused. The main reason for posting this is that I just can't see a way in which I can be truly happy again. My wife wants this to work, And I do too. But I find that any spare moment I have in the day, I just seem to dwell on everything, which makes me feel pretty down. I have trouble concentrating on work, but I'm so good at my job that I can do it on autopilot. I just can't seem to enjoy the things I used to like, TV shows and video games, even spending time alone with my children. I feel like I'm not a great dad. I let them have their own playtime, and I just sit there. Sometimes I even sit there and cry. I've been to the doctor, who's recommended a few things, but I'm desperate to stay off antidepressants because that's how she ended up like. I feel awful because I put on a brave face and pretend I'm okay in front of other people, but I'm really not. When I first found out, I was absolutely devastated. I barely slept or ate. Then I kind of went into overdrive to save my marriage. I thought I was starting to feel okay, but now, 8 weeks later, I'm just emotionally exhausted. I'm starting to feel angry and ashamed about it all. I'm irritable all the time. The smallest of things annoy me. I could drop. And I'm really struggling with this. It's more painful than when I first found out. I've spoken to my wife a bit about how I'm feeling, but she's feeling so much guilt now that she's off meds. I don't want her to feel worse. Ultimately, I want to feel better. I don't want to be stuck in this haze forever. Has anyone had a similar experience? How did you get through it? I'm feeling pretty lost at the moment and not sure what I should do. I'm about 3 months from discovering my wife's affair. I'm not sure what I want. I feel so lonely and broken. I'm having nightmares and anxiety attacks. I just don't feel right in my own skin. I just don't see how I can work through this when I'm so fundamentally broken. I know that I love my wife. I love her so much more than I thought I did. But I keep wondering if I should leave for myself. I should go away, fix what's inside me, and then come back. Right now, it's hurting her that I'm so hurt. She wonders if I can ever get over this and let it go. I feel the same way about her. The thing that makes me think leaving is a bad idea is that I might initiate some space, and she might fill it with this other guy or someone else. What if I leave and then can never come back? We have children, a mortgage, a car, etc. I won't get a chance to reply to everyone individually, but I've read all the responses, and I really appreciate it. I don't feel like leaving at all. It's strange. Some days, I just want to run out the door and never come back. Then other days, I can't imagine what I would do on my own. I've decided, based on advice here and elsewhere, that 3 months is far too early to settle on my feelings, so I've given myself a deadline. I'm going to think more about it and make a decision. The last update was 6 months ago when I first found out about my wife's affair. It's been 2 months since she finally admitted to sleeping with him. The 4 months in between were a nightmare of her going back and forth between me and him. Since finding out, I've pretty much let myself fall apart from the hurt and the pain. It's not even the affair or the lying that's getting to me. It's that she doesn't make me feel wanted or special. After agreeing to reconcile, I feel so taken for granted. Last night, I couldn't handle it anymore, and told her I finally wanted to separate permanently. I love her very much, but right now it seems that neither of us can give the other what they want. She needs me to just move on and forget about it, and for me to be patient and give her space to get over it. I need her to make me feel wanted and appreciated, especially after taking me for granted and letting me down for so long. We also have a lot going on this year, and we have 2 children, but we just have weeks when we're okay and weeks when we tear each other apart. She thinks that I'm seeking attention by having counseling sessions and taking antidepressants, even though I've broken down in front of her a couple of times. I think her attitude towards me is cold and defensive, which I understand comes from a place of not wanting to think. I just feel so sad. I made the decision to go our separate ways so that we can deal with our own things without the friction of dealing with somebody else. I feel like I'm letting my children down. I feel like a complete failure. I'm sure your cheating wife would love it if you felt like a failure. Don't blame her for your failures. You're not the one who didn't put in the work. Go your own way, push for joint custody, and be a good dad and a great person. Look to your family and friends for support. You're not a failure. You kept your vows and put your marriage before your pride. You agreed to reconciliation and got the local support you needed. Be strong for your children. You've also identified that your wife isn't putting in the effort to rebuild your relationship. You've chosen to become a healthy person so that you can be the father your children need and deserve. That's a lot of success. This is a great example of success. Look up the 5 stages of grief. Understanding the emotions you're going through is the first step. Giving them each a name will help take some of their power away. Stage 5 is acceptance. It's a powerful feeling. You will get there. You will be great, and so will the kids, because of you. You're not letting your children down. You're becoming a better person, and you're there to care for your children. Having a mentally healthy support system will help them become happy adults. You're brave enough to fight the storm and survive. They'll be proud when they grow up and notice what you did for them. Our hardest times are the ones that build our soul. One day, you'll be grateful. From my experience, these moments make us more caring and loving. We learn empathy and become more human. We learn from failure. You deserve to be loved and cared for, and your children deserve a loving support system. You're brave, strong, and you're going to survive infidelity.